can join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Barnum?
Present.
Councilman Perdicone?
Here.
Councilman Seeley?
Here.
Councilwoman Skrobak?
Present.
Supervisor Bello?
Here.
And attorney for the town?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barbara. Thank you all for being here tonight. We have a couple of presentations to start off the meeting tonight. And so to start off, I'd actually ask for the town board to please join me down here by the podium. All right, so thank you. Tonight, can everybody hear me okay? All right. Tonight, I'm happy to announce a new initiative in the town of Irondequoit to highlight extraordinary acts by our town's wonderful residents. The members of the town board and I would like to start a new tradition of recognizing Irondequoit residents who go out of their way to exhibit selfless and considerate deeds by presenting the Irondequoit Good Neighbor Award. Irondequoit is widely acknowledged as a philanthropic and hospitable town, and we want to recognize those individuals who have gone above and beyond to help their neighbors. If you've been the lucky recipient of a thoughtful act by an Irondequoit resident, I'd encourage you to submit a nomination to have your good neighbor at an upcoming town board meeting. The criteria and process are simple. The good neighbor needs to be an Irondequoit resident, and you simply need to email goodneighbor@irondequoit.org with details on who you are nominating and why, and we will follow up with you. There's no limit on how often you can nominate a neighbor, and there's no limit on how often a neighbor can be nominated. So tonight, I'm incredibly proud to recognize our first award winner. On Wednesday, February 11th, it started out as a typical workday for Gene Bernardo. As Gene and the other members of his team trudged through the snow, and I'm really just assuming there was snow, but it was February and it snowed every day. But in any event, they were on their way to work at RED Rochester when no one could have conceived of the potential tragedy that was unfolding inside the building. It wasn't until Gene had started that morning, his morning routine, when he noticed that one of his coworkers was unresponsive and clearly in crisis. Without wasting even a moment, Gene knew exactly what to do. He drew upon his training to start CPR. He ordered another coworker to call 911, and then he deployed the newly installed automatic external defibrillator device, an AED. Gene continued to provide life-saving assistance to his coworker until the ambulance and emergency responders arrived and took over. Automated external defibrillators, or AEDs, are one of the most effective tools for restoring normal heart rhythms to someone who is suffering from sudden cardiac arrest. Had it not been for Gene's quick thinking and CPR training, or had he not been able to access an AED, this story very likely could have ended a different way. But it didn't. And today we are recognizing and celebrating Gene's heroic and life-saving actions because after undergoing emergency treatments and surgery, Gene's coworker is safe and recuperating at home. When I first heard of Gene's story, I myself was inspired, as I hope all of you are here today too. I was inspired because it made me reflect on whether or not I would have been as able and capable as acting as Gene did that day. It made me think about my own training and how, while it might not seem like it at the time, that training in a split second can save a life. So I'd like to invite Gene to come on up here to the town board and receive a small token of appreciation for his actions. And Gene, on behalf of the town of Irondequoit and the town board, I proclaim you to be a good neighbor. Congratulations. going to just come over here for a quick picture, if you don't mind. Family, Chief's family want to come up? Tom Bernardo's. All right, come on board. There you go.
Tower over all of us anyway.
Come on in.
Yeah, he's out there.
Ready? And we'll do a couple of them. And 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Thank you very much.
Okay, next I'm going to call Councilwoman Lori Barnum forward, who's going to read a proclamation and recognize March, which is Women's History Month.
I'm so pleased to be able to do this. Whereas American women of every race and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas Rochester was home to the great reformer Susan B. Anthony, and upstate New York was the birthplace of the women's suffrage movement of our nation, and whereas American women have been and continue to be at the forefront of every major progressive change movement, charitable pursuit, volunteer expedition, and demand for social change, and whereas a great society is only as great as those individuals who perform exemplary service on behalf of their community and endeavor to improve the quality of life of all individuals. Now, therefore, let it be known that this town board, on behalf of the entire town of Arundecoit, does hereby proclaim our solemn observance in support of Women's History Month, March 2015. Thank you.
And next on the agenda, actually, I'd welcome the rest of the folks on the dais. Come on down. We actually have a special surprise tonight. We thought we'd try something different at our town board meetings and bring in some young people to share their talents. And this being St. Patrick's Day earlier this week, we thought what better way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and the Irish heritage in the town of Arundecoit than to invite some talented performers from the Boland School of Dance to come and do a performance, a dance performance for the town, for those here in attendance and those watching at home. So I'd like to welcome some performers from the Boland School of Dance.
Thank you, Supervisor Bello and town board members and staff for inviting our girls today. These are just a few dancers from the Boland School of Irish Dance. We are located in Greece, New York, although these 4 girls are long-time 3rd and 4th generation Arundecoit residents, so we are very happy to be here. They have had a very busy couple of weeks with St. Patrick's Day and lots of dance outs. They've been in nursing homes and schools and have danced at the county office building a few times over the week and ended up dancing for some businesses too. So it's been a really fun time. So first, what the girls would like to do for you is a step called a treble jig. This is one that you would see our girls doing at a competition. All 4 of these girls do compete in Irish dance. And so this is, while the music and the timing of the step is traditional, each step is choreographed specifically for each school. So you will see them doing their specific Boland steps. So this is a treble jig. they are catching their breaths, let me introduce the girls. This is Lily, Aislinn, Abby, and Megan, and they've all been dancing probably since they're about 4 or 5 years old. And they are all very good friends. They are the girls from our school come from all districts around Monroe County, and they compete and travel together and have a great time. Let me tell you a little bit about their shoes. They are wearing hard shoes, which are very much like tap shoes, except that the heel and the tips are made from fiberglass, and I think you could hear the clicks. So they're specifically made to make that wonderful sound. The dance that they are going to be doing right now is a forehand, and it is a very traditional dance with its roots back to Ireland. And this dance was done at parties and special occasions. And the girls do compete in this dance. Most of these girls here danced in our regional competition in Philadelphia over Thanksgiving. And you will see all of the girls and boys at all schools dancing these same exact steps. And this is called a K-lead forehand dance. While they catch their breath and reset, let me tell you a little bit about their dresses. Aislinn and Lily are wearing our Boland traditional school dress, and you can see there are Celtic knots on it that are never-ending, which symbolizes all eternity and eternal love. Girls, if you two could turn around with the capes, there are swans and snakes on it, which are kind of traditional in the Celtic tradition. Ladies, you can turn back around. And then Megan and Abby are compete at a level. When you reach a certain level, you can wear a solo dress. And so both of these girls are wearing their solo dresses. Megan's came from her family believes Australia. For those of you that know Megan, this dress is so perfectly suited to her and her personality and her interests, and it just looks lovely on her. There are dressmakers all over the country, England, Ireland, Canada, and there are local dressmakers, and Abby's dress is made locally, and she helped design her dress, and it has a Celtic knot on the front. And Abby, if you can turn around, and the shield on the back is her family's shield, for her family's crest. So those are the dresses. The last piece that they are going to be doing for you is one, it's called a treble reel, and it is one that is done at fesh's or competitions, and now they're done for charity. So the girls will pay a little bit of money to be able to do the competition, the treble reel, and the fesh will raise money for a local charity. You will need to participate by clapping, which is very traditional at fesh's also. So this is a treble reel.
So much to memorize. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. The clicking is there. Whoa. No, it was neat to see that they click. They get that by clicking their shoes together. I was trying to figure that one out.
Thank you, and thank you again to the talented performers from the Boland School of Dance. That was, I think, just a great performance. So thank you for being here tonight. The next agenda item we have is public input. We have a number of speakers signed up. We also have a public hearing that begins at 7:35, so we'll get through the speakers we can. If we can't get through the list, we'll come back to you after the public hearings. First speaker signed up is Stephanie Squiccerini. Come forward.
Thank you, Town Board, for allowing me the opportunity to read a letter that I sent to all of you acknowledging some really remarkable individuals in our town. Dear Supervisor Bello, on September 7th, I learned two valuable lessons. That Sunday morning, as I was bringing my mom, Carol Curcio, the paper and her favorite chocolate croissants from Wegmans, as I did every Sunday morning, I found her on the floor unresponsive. As I called 911, I feared the worst. I knew in my heart she was gone, but there was still hope. The first lesson I learned that day is that life is short and can be taken away at any moment. My mom, known to many Irondequoit residents through her regular appearances at the farmers market, was sending and responding to emails at 9:30 that morning, planning her day of sewing for the market and upcoming craft shows. She was gone by the time I arrived at her house at 11:30. The second lesson I learned that day is that we are blessed in Irondequoit to have a top-notch team of first responders, from EMTs with the Irondequoit Volunteer Ambulance Crew to the firemen from Ridge Culver Fire Department to the police officers in Irondequoit Police Department. Each person who responded to my frantic and apologetically F-bomb laden 911 call, it was the only word I seemed to be able to think of clearly as it came out in successive repetition, was caring and concern throughout their assistance. The officers, and I believe the firemen who had to literally lift me from the floor as I was unable to do so on my own, continued their support as they went to get my husband, Fred, who was mowing the lawn at our house around the corner and did not hear my numerous calls for him. Even as Jeff from the Irondequoit Volunteer Ambulance told me what I already knew in my heart to be true, that my mom was gone, I felt safe and comforted being surrounded by so many compassionate people. They took care of me, Fred, and my mom with respect, dignity, and kind sympathy. I owe a debt of gratitude to the many first responders who came to my aid that morning, and they all should be commended and recognized. Residents of Irondequoit should feel proud and safe as they live their lives knowing that life is short and should be cherished every single day. And they can do that living and cherishing know that should life have unexpected and potentially horrific plans for them on any given day, that they will be helped, supported, and guided through their trauma by thoughtful, dedicated, and compassionate individuals. Just in time, with deep and heartfelt gratitude to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing your story with us. And there are today joining us a number of first responders who are here that touched Stephanie and her family that she just referenced in her letter, and many families across our town. We're joined today by a number of members of the Irondequoit Police Department, Chief Zapatori from the Ridge Culver, Culver Ridge Fire Department's here, as well as some folks from Irondequoit Volunteer Ambulance. And I'd like all our first responders to please rise so that we, and stand, Chief, you as well, so we can recognize you and for all the work that you've done. So thank you. Thank you. Thanks again, Stephanie. Our next speaker signed up is Bill Ertl. Is Mr. Ertl here? No? Okay. Next signed up is Richard Barone.
Richard Barone, 154 Allwood Drive. I believe democracy requires participation of its citizens. To participate in this town board meeting tonight requires knowledge and information of what is before the town board. To do so requires to be able to view the same written material all of you have before you. New York State law requires that the board agenda packet be available, I believe, within 24 hours of the board meeting. Today I asked to see the board's packet of items to be voted on tonight at 3 p.m. None of it was available. The board agenda was not available on the website today, at least not until about 3 or 4 o'clock, to my knowledge. We have 2 public hearings tonight that appear to change the town code, the town law, I would hope that the board does not vote on those issues tonight. I don't know if anyone else did not have the opportunity to see what you're going to vote on tonight. I know I did not in its final form. You may have had a rough draft at a workshop, which I could not attend, but it's always important to see the final form. So therefore, the hearing tonight, I will speak on it, but I don't have the benefit of knowing really what you're going to vote on if you do vote on that tonight. Therefore, I ask the town supervisor to look into what needs to be done to make that information available and perhaps go beyond what the state law requires, maybe more than 24 hours before. And I do not want to let anybody think that this is criticism of the town clerk's office. It's not. Because the town clerk only can have available what's given to her. So I don't fault the town clerk's department at all. But I know, Mr. Supervisor, in the past you have had several public hearings on the master plan, and I compliment you that. You changed the master plan after you heard input from the public. That has never been done, to my knowledge, in this town, where there were 2 and 3 public hearings. And that, I think, was a really good start for this administration. But I think we need to know what you're voting on if you want us to comment on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker signed up today. I'm having trouble making out the name. Is it Philip? Is there a Philip Same or Sane from Lafayette? No? Okay. Greg, we have time. Greg Devlin, you're the next speaker. Sign up.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. And tonight is, my topic is totally non-political.
Okay.
Seriously, April will be National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. And I come to you not only as a citizen, but I'm also a National Safety Council certified senior instructor, instructor trainer, and defensive driving instructor evaluator, plus a Live at 25 instructor. This is a big problem, a very, very, very big problem in our country. And I'd like to propose that the town board and that the supervisors particularly do something to actually promote distracted driver awareness with your town employees during the month of April. And I've got a couple of things for you. And I have a lot of resources available to me, and I'm going to offer my services to you, no charge, as a volunteer if you'd like to take me up on them. But distracted driving is a big, big problem. It is such a big problem that it's getting to the point where it's actually going to start killing more people than drunk driving and drinking while driving. Of the 5.5 million crashes in this country every year, we are now at a point where it's about 1.2 million are the result of distracted driving, whether it be talking on a cell phone or texting. That is just too much. Locally, I have in fact noticed, and I've kept something of a tally of it, but I just threw it out because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But I do notice people driving town vehicles that are talking on cell phones and texting. That's completely unacceptable. And I know that there are those who say, well, I've got to use every minute, or I'm exempt, or I can go ahead and multitask and things like that. It doesn't work that way. Our cognitive abilities, if we're really doing a great job of driving, cannot do anything else but concentrate on that. And I know, as I said, people think they're exempt, but no one's exempt from dying, if you think about it. So what I would like to do is offer you something from the National Safety Council. I'll give it to Barb.
Sure.
And it's called an executive summary of why cell phone usage is a problem and stuff like that. The date on this is 2012. It's from the National Safety Council. They're still working on updating it. And one of the things that says in here is that no state has actually enacted any policies or programs. In the state of New York, we actually do. They made the use of portable electronic devices a primary offense worth 5 points, and they put that in place a year and a half ago. So it is. The state is recognizing this, but as I said, what I'm going to give you is an executive summary, and I've also put together, the back page is a suggested half-page cell phone policy that you I'm suggesting you might try to get every employee to sign. I've included my business card on the top right here. If I can be of any assistance or help in this, I would be very happy to.
Thank you, Mr. Devlin, and thank you for your work on this issue. Appreciate it. Okay. Barbara, is it 7:35?
Yes, it is.
All right, so we're going to do, this is the last speaker who signed up. If you didn't have a chance to sign up but would like to address the board, we will come back to public. I'll ask you after the public hearings if you'd like to still come up and address the board. So, Barbara?
Public hearing 3A 2015-1 on the matter of amending section 235-36A to include jewelry and coin exchange dealers, pawnbrokers, and second-hand dealers.
All right, thanks, Barbara. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing? And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. The jewelry and joint exchange dealers, pawnbrokers, and secondhand dealers are businesses that are only allowed to exist in manufacturing districts, and this amendment clarifies our existing administration of places that these businesses are allowed to operate, as we discussed at last month's meeting. Are there any, I don't know if I saw anybody signed up to speak. Did anybody want to speak to this in this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
And a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Before we move on to the next resolution, in connection with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, I'd like to call on Carrie Ivers, the town's Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Hi there. I'm just going to reiterate that the proposed action is going to result in an amendment to 235-36A in the code of the town to add jewelry and coin exchange dealers, pawnbrokers, and secondhand dealers as a permitted use in the M manufacturing district. And as far as complying with SEQR, we've got to look at the potential environmental impacts associated with this action. There really are none because it's augmenting recent revisions to Section 165 of the code, which clarifies the town's intent related to appropriate locations for such businesses in the town. So it's really administrative in nature and doesn't change the locations. There's not a significant adverse impact associated with the action.
Okay, great. Thanks, Carrie.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Carrie? Okay. All right, before we move on, let's do, go ahead with the next, with the resolution.
Adopt a resolution in connection with the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding an amendment to Town Code Chapter 235, Section 36A, to include jewelry and coin exchange dealers, pawnbrokers, and second-hand dealers.
Can I have a motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any questions, any further questions, comments, or concerns?
We've had 2 public hearings now on this.
On this issue, we had a public
Sure.
hearing. No, we presented the law last month at the
Presented it.
town board meeting, where it has been available in the town clerk's office in the same form that it's been available today. And then the public hearing was just now, and now we're acting on the environmental quality review work that was done on it. Yep. So this is the same law that has been on file with the clerk's office since last month when it was introduced, and the town board
That's what I
voted at last month's town board meeting to schedule the public hearing for today. Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Adopt a resolution amending Chapter 235, Section 36A to include jewelry and coin exchange dealers, pawnbrokers, and second-hand dealers.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Any additional?
Just want
Same-
to point out, too, this was also discussed at last month's planning board meeting where the planning board
gave a unanimous positive referral to the town board, 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Thanks, Nick. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Public hearing 3A 2015-2 on the matter of amending Chapter 235, Articles 1, 2, 4, 9, 9A, 15, 16, and 24 of the Town Code.
Okay, can I ask for a motion to open the public hearing? In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The public hearing is open, and I'd like to start by welcoming Robert Brenner from Nixon Peabody, who serves as the Deputy Town Attorney, to say a word about this proposed change to the Town Code.
Good evening, Supervisor Bello, members of the Town Board. Robert Brenner from the law firm Nixon Peabody. Here this evening in connection with a local law containing modifications to Chapter 235 of the Town Code, which is the zoning code. In short, the local law before you is intended to address certain ambiguities that exist in the town's definitions in the zoning code relating to certain residential structures. There's potential ambiguity between detached single-family dwellings and attached single-family dwellings. The proposed local law does not contain any modifications that would alter the town's existing administration of its ordinance. It's just intended to cure ambiguities and ensure that there's no misapplication moving forward. So with that being said, as Mr. Weatherby indicated on the prior matter, this was referred to the Planning Board. It's before you this evening on a positive recommendation. This also went to Monroe County, and they had positive comments in connection with this local law as well.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Brenner. Any questions, or I'm sorry, not any questions. Anybody here to speak on the resolution or the public hearing?
Good evening, members of the Town Board. My name is Alan Knopf, and I'm here as attorney for Smattle Holdings, LLC. My client has purchased and seeks to develop the property at 160 Densmore Road. And the purpose of my presentation is just to request that you exempt pending applications from this law. We had asked the town for an interpretation, and the town agreed with my interpretation that duplexes were allowed in the R1. In reliance upon that, my client purchased the property, closed, paid for it, and proceeded to submit a plan to the planning board. Then we learned that the town was considering this particular amendment, so our plan was put on hold pending this. The town was nice enough to allow us to cooperate to file an application for a variance on the anticipation that you might pass this law. So we do have a pending variance application for a law that may be in existence shortly for next month. But just out of fairness, we think that we should be exempted because, you know, we got the favorable interpretation, went ahead and purchased. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alan. Okay, was there anyone else who'd like to address the board at this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I ask for a motion to close the public hearing. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Adopt a resolution in connection with the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding an amendment to Chapter 235, Articles 1, 2, 4, 9, 9A, 15, 16, and 24 of the Town Code.
Can I have a motion? And a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'd again ask Carrie Ivers from our Planning and Zoning Administrator to address the board.
The proposed revisions to the zoning code outlined by our attorney, a planning zone attorney, indicated that the town's definitions are, the code is going to clarify, the zoning code revisions are going to clarify the town's definitions for various dwelling unit types addressed in the code and affirm its longstanding understanding and documented interpretation of the uses and scale of development permitted in the R1, R2, and R3 districts, residential districts. The proposed action is administrative in nature and intended to clarify code language to to support the town's preferences for single-family development in R1, R2, and R3 districts, which is consistent with existing development patterns. And these are, the code language changes are also intended to limit potential misinterpretation or misapplication of regulations and protect neighborhoods. In the determining or looking at the environmental impacts associated with this, there are no adverse environmental impacts associated with the action. The proposed revisions are going to maintain community character, and they're going to maintain consistent land use practices and ensure appropriate development occurs in the town. And they're intended to preserve character.
Thank you, Carrie.
All right, thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, thank you, Carrie. Sorry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Adopt a resolution amending Chapter 235, Article 1, 2, 4, 9, 9A, 15, 16, and 24 of the Town Code.
Can I have a motion? And a second? Any further comment or discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Barbara, I'd like to actually move now back, now that the public hearings are over, I'd actually like to move back to public input. Was there anybody who did not have a chance to sign up before the meeting who'd like to address the board for public input? Okay. Seeing none, we can move on.
Next agenda item is financial report.
The 2014 financial report that you have states tentative before closing 2014 as of February 28th. And this will be the last monthly update with tentative 2014 year-end results that I will present at a monthly board meeting. The town's 2014 books are now closed. Hopefully, the updates have allowed us to preview the 2014 results as we progress through, as we are progressing through the closing. During the second quarter, the town's auditing firm, the Bonadeo Group, will perform the annual audit and generate the 2014 financial statements. After completion of those processes, a presentation of the town's financial condition will be made to the town board at a mid-year workshop meeting. Highlights of the town's financial status will be shared with the public at a subsequent town board meeting. The tentative 2014 financial results of the town as of the end of February 2015. Total expenditures are 97% of budget, or $30,798,000. That amount includes $218,000 of encumbrances. The general fund expenses are under budget at 98.1%, or $18,040,000. The combined expenses in the highway funds are $5,777,000. That's only slightly above budget at 101.2%. Please also note that the highway revenue is above budget as well at 101.8%. Actual expenditures in the other major funds remain lower than budget. The library is at 96.5% of budget, a total of $1,861,000. Expenses in the sewer funds are $3,320,000, which equates to 86.3% of budget. The stormwater drainage expenditures are under budget at 82.8%, or $651,000. Again, as of the end of 2014, expenditures for the entire town are at 97% of budget. The total revenue received in the general fund is $18,707,000, which equates to 102.4% of budget. The revenue amount stated here is more than $600,000 greater than the total general fund expenses, as you can see on the report. To recap the revenue activity, the town has received 100% of real estate tax, payment in lieu of taxes, and state aid. While the mortgage tax and franchise cable TV revenue ended the year under budget at 89.9% and 92.8% respectively, The sales tax revenue of $3,642,000 is quite favorable and exceeds budget by $217,000. That's 106.3% of budget. Other line items that received greater than budgeted revenues are fines and bill forfeitures, 135.5% of budget, cemetery, 116.5%, and other sources of revenue, 120.5%. Favorability in fines and bill forfeitures was driven by a $100,000 one-time code violations fine from the Metley Center. Property maintenance and cleanup is the primary driver of the other sources of revenue category. That line item ends the year at $303,000, 168% of budget. Regarding the entire town, 102% of revenue has been received. The library received 99% of budget, highway 101.8%, and 100.3% was recorded for the sewer fund. This concludes my financial report of 2014 preliminary results. The second report, the 2015 financial results for the town as of February 28th. Total expenditures and encumbrances are $6,453,000, equating to 19.9% of budget, higher than the 16.7% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures are $4,247,000, and encumbrances are $2,206,000. Encumbrances are typically high early in the year as departments are committing to services, supplies, and commodities and known expenditures that will be needed throughout the year. The general fund expenses are 19.8% of budget, or $3,777,000. Again, that spending level is to be anticipated at this point in the year. The expenditures break down as follows for the general fund. Actual expenditures, $2,582,000, and encumbrances, $1,195,000. Together, the expenses in the highway funds are $1,660,000, 30.2% of budget, above the 16.7% of the year that has elapsed. The highway for the snow removal fund has higher than budgeted labor, benefits, and salt expenses. Encumbrances for gas and fuel, equipment parts, and vehicle maintenance and salt are also prominent in the consolidated highway funds. Actual expenditures in the other major funds are lower than the percent of the year that has elapsed. Sewer is at 11.7% of budget. That equates to $465,000. Expenses in stormwater drainage total $60,000, 7.5% of budget. The library has expended 14% of its budget, $277,000. The general fund has received $6,888,000, 36.4% of the fund's revenue budget. Of that amount, $6.3 million is tax revenue, and $118,000 is pilot, which is all that is currently due for pilot. Regarding the entire town, $12.5 million, or 38.7% of revenue has been received to date. Approximately $9.5 million is real estate tax, 58% of that budget. The library has received $943,000, or 47.7% of budgeted revenue. Highway has received $2.3 million, 41.7% of its revenue budget, and sewer has received 54.9% of budget, $2,167,000. This concludes my financial report for the month of February 2015.
Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions from the board?
I just have a question. According to Moody's report that was given, could you please explain our rating and the meaning of that rating, which is all good?
Yes, it's all good. There's an article in the Arundecoit Post, if you haven't seen it, and the supervisor explained it very well. Our Moody's rating we have been upgraded to a AA3, which is a very high rating. It's not the highest, AAA is the highest, but it's high. And basically, we went through a Moody's review the end of February, and basically we had to explain the economy of the town, the financial position, explain our debt, and our sustained performance over a number of years, the fact that we have increased our fund balance consistently over years, the fact that we've demonstrated conservative budgeting practices, and we ensure that we budget conservatively for the economically sensitive revenues such as sales tax and mortgage. We want to make sure that we are realistic, and once we develop those realistic estimates, then we must budget our expenditures within that realm. So basically, we've demonstrated it. We have a written fund balance policy. So we, the town, we're doing the right things to improve our financial, our credit worthiness.
Thanks, Annie. And actually, I'll just add, I was going to talk later during my remarks and announcements, but I just want to add that I do think this is a significant milestone for the town's finances, which had been rated A1 since 2010. And Arundecoit's conservative budgeting and healthy reserves weigh heavily in Moody's calculations, with Moody's noting that conservative budgeting drives solid financial performances. And such dependability and accomplished budgeting processes will result in increased financial flexibility, which will benefit Arundecoit residents for years to come. And the rate increase really affirms that Arundecoit offers an excellent investment opportunity for new and growing businesses and for our residents, and that the town board has demonstrated, I think, our commitment to responsible fiscal discipline. But I do want to thank and recognize our town comptroller, Annie Seeley, for her extraordinary work in helping us manage the town's finances for the last number of years. For Annie and her staff, Diana Marsh, Rick Checky, and Tony Dambra, and all the folks up there in our finance department have just done an outstanding job. And this rate increase is significant for the town, and we owe them a debt of gratitude as well for helping us work through how we manage the town's finances and doing just such an extraordinary job. So Annie, our hats are off to you, and I just want to recognize you. And again, Diana, Rick, and Tony, and the whole staff up there just do a fantastic job. Any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the financial report? In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Approval of minutes, February 12, 2015, the workshop meeting.
Moved. In a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
February 19, 2015, the regular town board meeting.
Motion? In a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
March 5th, 2015, the special town board meeting.
Can I have a motion? In a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Items for board action. Item 3A, 2015-3, authorizing the supervisor to enter into contracts with various McAvoy Park seasonal employees.
Can I have a motion? In a second?
Second.
And again, as the clerk just indicated, this resolution simply is to allow us to hire our seasonal employees who manage the concession stands and maintain the sports complex up at McAvoy Field. Bob, do you have anything to add? Or
No, you pretty much summarized that.
all right, great. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-4, authorizing an updated McAvoy Park rental fee schedule.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Okay, again, just as the clerk said, this one's pretty simple. It's, this resolution sets the rental fee schedule for the use of the fields at McAvoy Park, which is available through the Recreation Department. Any questions or comments from the board? The schedule is attached to the resolution. No? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-5, authorizing the award of the Somerville Area Sewer Replacement Program Phase 2 contract.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
All right, just going to ask Commissioner Meredith to give a brief review of the resolution.
Thank you, Supervisor. This resolution is authorizing the award of the Somerville Area Sewer Replacement Program Phase 2 contract. This will be the rehabilitation and replacement of sewers and roads on Center Terrace, Somerville Drive, and Parkview Road from Center Terrace to the top of the hill. Sealed bids were publicly opened and read on March 11, 2015. Ransco Pipeline was the lowest responsible bidder in the amount of $502,345. Funding is available in the sanitary, storm, and highway capital accounts.
Great, thanks, Pat. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none.
It came in under budget then.
It did, yep. And this is it came in under budget, and were you just knocking on wood back there, Pat? It came in under budget, and is I know a significant improvement for the neighborhood up there. I think folks will be very happy this is moving forward.
Yep, and then we'll have one more phase of this project after this is completed this year.
Great.
Thank you, Pat and Bob, for your due diligence on this.
Mm-hmm. Great. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-6, authorizing the award of one 2015 or newer model year sewer inspection cab and chassis with build-out for camera system.
Can I have a motion? Moved. And a second?
Second.
All right. Again, this is, again, just authorizing the award to purchase a newer sewer inspection cab and chassis with a build-out for a camera system. Anything else to add, Pat?
No. What we're going to be doing is taking the truck and the equipment that we have now. We'll be pulling that all apart because the camera equipment is only a couple years old. That will all be put into the new truck, and then the older truck will be put to auction later this year.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-7, authorizing the purchase of a 2015 or newer model year 40-foot aerial bucket truck.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Pat, is there anything you wanted to add to the title of the resolution there?
No. Basically, it's well, I do, I guess. This will be used in conjunction with our larger bucket truck that we do have. It can be put to use for many useful things that we can't reach with ladders, such as replacing bulbs and many of the town-owned street lights that we have, the parking lot lights, and some of the gutter cleaning and maintenance that we have on a lot of the buildings in town.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-8, adopt a resolution pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act with respect to the installation of a stormwater wet vault.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Okay, before the town board acts on this resolution, I'm going to call on Deputy Commissioner Bob Kiley to address the board.
This resolution files a negative declaration for the installation of a stormwater wet vault on the Town Hall campus. The retrofit of this storm sewer manhole and the installation of this device will increase water quality in the unnamed tributary to Lake Ontario that is located just west of the Town Hall campus here. There's no environmental impact with regard to this device. On the contrary, it should increase water quality within that tributary stream.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments from the board?
Bob was too modest. I think this is actually a really cool thing, for lack of better words. And I thank him for being progressive in his thinking. And hopefully, if it looks like it works out, we can do it in other places in the town. So thank you, Bob.
This will be a test run product that we'll use. Currently, you could have sediments that get into the stream, and that's what this device would actually catch those and remove them prior to it impacting the stream. So we'll try it here on the Town Hall campus, see how the long-term operation and maintenance go, and then we'll see if we can install these in several other locations in town.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a really good environmental move, and I'm glad that we're doing it, so I'm all for it.
Thanks, Lori. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-9, accepting grant funding from the County of Monroe and authorizing the corresponding budget amendment.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And Bob, this is accepting the grant funding to actually allow us to install the vault, correct?
Correct, yeah. The County of Monroe, the Department of Community Services wrote a grant and received $15,500 worth of grant funds to try out and install this stormwater wet vault. And so this resolution just accepts that money from the county.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-10, authorizing a series of balanced appropriation transfers within several funds of the 2014 operating budget.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Annie, can you just give a brief explanation of what that means?
Yes.
Sure.
At the end of 2014, we have several accounts that are over budget. So we have detailed the accounts that are over budget and the amount, and we've identified the accounts that are under budget that have money available that we can transfer to those accounts. And this is balanced within fund. So basically, it's a zero impact.
So it's a zero-sum game. Really what this does is identify little small items where it may have exceeded and then all the areas where we were under so that we can match and balance the books at the end of the year, right?
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-11, authorizing 2014 interfund closing transfers to appropriate funding to the self-insurance fund.
Can I have a motion? In a second?
Second.
Okay, and again, this does the same process that the comptroller just outlined, but this one is for the self-insurance fund for the town.
Yes, that's correct.
Can I, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-12, authorizing transfers from the self-insurance fund to operating funds for workmen's compensation claims paid in 2014.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
And again, this is for the town self-insurance fund, as the clerk said, for the workers' comp claims that were paid in 2014 to finish closing off the books there. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-13, authorizing the hiring of 2 laborers in the Department of Public Works.
Can I have a motion? In a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Bob Kiley, do you want to just speak to the resolution for a minute?
Thank you.
Thanks.
The department has 2 funded vacant positions within the laborer classification, and prior to the busy season, we now seek to fill those positions. After posting per union regulations and after interviews with several qualified candidates, we would like to put forth the names of Phil Sacco and Dominic Pronti to fill those 2 vacant positions. Phil and Dominic have worked for us in our summer help programs for several years and have proven themselves time and time again. We anticipate having Phil move to the A shift, and Dominic will be staffing the B shift.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments from the board?
Who's getting hired first? Which one are we doing first?
This resolution does Philip Sacco and Dominic Pronti.
Okay,
Oh.
so for the hiring of,
Yeah.
for the hiring of Dominic, I'm going to abstain, Barb, okay?
Thanks, John. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. And there's one abstention, 4 ayes and one abstention. Motion passes. I think Philip and Dominic are here. If you guys want to just stand and be recognized, congratulations. Welcome to the team. All right.
Item 3A, 2015-14, declaring old computers and related equipment to be surplus property and authorizing their disposal.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second. Okay, and again, this is just declaring surplus a number of items, older computers, monitors, inkjets, printers that are outdated, obsolete, or are in a state of disrepair. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, and of course authorizes the disposal of those items. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-15, authorizing the execution of an equitable sharing agreement and certification.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Okay, ask the chief to just give a brief review of the resolution, please.
Absolutely. This is in regards to the asset forfeiture account that the town of Arundequoit holds. This is typically results from drug-related investigations and the proceeds from those investigations. This account is oversight is conducted by the Department of Justice, and any expenditures or monetary deposits associated with that come through the Department of Justice and the United States Treasury. I want to also thank the Comptroller's Office for assisting us in preparing this agreement and certification that will be submitted upon board approval to the United States Department of Justice.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-16, authorizing the supervisor to enter into the Stop DWI Crackdown Weekends Agreement with the County of Monroe.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Chief? Chief, can you give a brief description of the resolution, please?
This is a grant funding award from that is funded by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. It requires us to conduct sobriety or impaired driving enforcement efforts. Typically, it's the sobriety checkpoint, saturation patrols, and the deployment of drug recognition officers during specific times of the year that have been identified by the state of New York. The amount of the grant is $14,744.
Great, thanks, Chief. Any questions or discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-17, authorizing the supervisor to enter into the Stop DWI Enhanced Enforcement Intermunicipal Agreement with the County of Monroe.
Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
And again, Chief, a review of the resolution, please.
Right, this funding opportunity, once again, is a grant that we've worked with Monroe County Stop DWI for impaired driving enforcement details. Once again, it'll include saturation patrols, sobriety checkpoints. In addition, this grant allows us the opportunity for covering court-related costs associated with police officers' testimony, as well as equipment needs and training costs. The grant funding opportunity is for $15,443.
Great. Thanks, Chief. Any questions or discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-18, adopt a resolution in connection with the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding an amendment to Chapter 210, Article 2 of the Town Code.
Can I have a motion? In a second?
Second.
I ask Carrie Ivers, our Planning and Zoning Administrator, to address the board, please.
This proposed action involves the provision of Chapter 210, Article 2, The existing chapter is going to be deleted and replaced in its entirety with Article 2 Business Investment Exemption. The section establishes the process and framework pursuant to real property tax law by which businesses could be offered limited business exemption tax credits. There are no adverse environmental impacts associated with this action due to its administrative nature.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you.
Is there any questions or discussion from the board on that? This is just for the secret documents.
Right.
For this.
Okay.
And just a point of clarification, it's not a tax credit, it's just a step phase in of the assessed value and therefore the tax implications for that for the town taxes. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-19, amending Chapter 210, Article 2 regarding the Arundequoit Business Investment Exemption Law.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Second. All right, great, thank you. And I'll talk a little bit to this resolution to start off. We did a public hearing on this a couple of months ago, and this resolution is really part of our efforts here in Arundequoit to make sure that we are being hospitable to growth in our town and really taking a look at how we can encourage new investments in different areas of town. Currently, the town offers a property tax phase-in for residential properties. If you do a capital improvement of a certain size to your house and you apply to the town, you can take that increase in assessed value caused by that investment and phase it in over a number of years so that the initial tax implication of that investment doesn't come to you all at once and hit you all at once. And so what this proposal does is it allows that exemption then to also be taken advantage of by commercial properties in our town. To really underscore that we want to see our commercial properties, just like we do in our residential properties, people reinvesting in them, investing resources, trying to encourage some new redevelopment and growth, which ultimately will help our tax base into the future. And so what this proposal does is it takes the same basic structure where you take, if a commercial property were to make a significant investment in their property, we would, to help encourage that, you take just that increase that was caused by that investment, phase it in over a number of years so that the tax implication would never be viewed as a penalty, so that you never would want to see somebody withhold from investing in their property and investing in the town because of an immediate tax implication. And so that in short is what this resolution does. This resolution also creates an industrial and commercial incentive board. And the board will be appointed by the town board, and we'll do that in the next resolution. And essentially what that board will do is that they will draft a plan to present to the town board that would include recommendations as to the types of businesses and either the types of businesses or the geographic location of businesses in town that should be offered an enhanced exemption and a more aggressive exemption to really try to encourage growth. So if there are different types of commercial properties or enterprises that the town really feels like we should be encouraging additional development or investment in, or if there's geographic locations in town that are in particular need of help, this board would make those recommendations to the town board, and again, present a plan that we can act on at a future date. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or discussion on this?
Adam and Nick, I'm glad we went about this the right way in creating the board to make the recommendations. I know there hasn't been criticism in the past, but I think it's good for the board to develop what sort of criteria we would want to be able to target with these sort of tax incentives. Some towns have just gone a one-size-fits-all approach, and I'm glad we're proceeding sensibly. So, I remember there was a DNC article about a year ago when we started talking about this, and I'm glad we're putting it into action. So, nice work.
Great. Thanks,
Yes. I'd like to also commend the board for moving on this. I wholeheartedly accept it. It'll incentivize our businesses. And what I like about it also is what they call the Accelerated Strategic Exemption, which is a modified form to allow those individuals to be able to accelerate this incentive over a period of time. So, and I like it also because it provides employment opportunities, and it broadens the tax base as written here. So that's what we're all for. Thank you.
Thanks, Irina. Okay, any other questions or discussion?
I just want to point out that, again, when you're looking at this and you look at the narrative over the last year here, the comprehensive plan, keeping the tax rate stable, and ultimately by implementing this, that's how this is, I want to commend the board for taking these actions, because that is how you ultimately attract new businesses, keep the existing ones here growing, and make this a place people want to be. So I just want to commend the board, and I look forward to getting to work on the investment board and making this a good addition to our town.
Thanks, Nick.
Right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 3A, 2015-20, appointing members to the Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Again, now this resolution now is the natural next step. This is appointing the members to the Industrial and Commercial Incentive Board. Again, this is the board that's going to talk about the accelerated exemption, the enhanced exemption for certain types of businesses, either in geographical locations or by type. The law sort of specifies who should be on the board. It's a 7-member board. It requires the chairman of the planning board, a member of the town staff, and 5 residents to be a part of the board. So this resolution puts forth the names, obviously, Peter Wayner, who is the chairman of the town's planning board, Carrie Ivers, our planning and zoning administrator, Fred Squiccerini, Al Kirstein, Therese Corrigan-Bastick, Bradley Huber, and Sandra Holloway. Any questions or discussion by the board?
No, I just seen, the list we have here. First of all, I'm glad that we do have some residents on this board as well, but this is a good group of people that will bring some good recommendations to us, I believe.
Yeah, I think they all bring a different perspective.
Yep, very good.
That's right. And the point of that board makeup, it includes the president of the Chamber of Commerce, it includes the president of a neighborhood association. The real purpose of the board is to have a good cross-section, or the purpose for these the recommendations for the names is to give a good cross-section of folks in town who would come from different backgrounds and also live in different areas of town, to bring different perspectives to the board. Any other questions or discussions?
I did just want to point out that it specifies the chairman of the planning board, so the extent that that person is who it is now is great, but whoever takes that position in the future, that would be
Correct.
who it is.
That's right.
Just for clarification, so everybody is clear on the fact of why certain people who own business buildings are not allowed to be on this board?
Well, what we did was, it's not that, what we did was when we looked to see who would be a part of this board, we looked to make sure that there wouldn't be anyone with a conflict of interest. So we wanted to make sure we found a good cross-section of business folks and residents who wouldn't stand to gain from any potential decision that they would make or recommendations. So wanted to make sure this was kept strictly, free of any,
No, it's a good
potential
idea.
personal gain.
Definitely, yes, because
Absolutely.
there may have been
Yep.
some questions before. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-21, filling a zoning board of appeals vacancy.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. This resolution puts forth the name of Andre Evans to fill a vacancy on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Andre currently serves as an alternate on the board, and so this is a natural progression. Now there was a vacancy, and we're appointing him to be a full-time member of the board. Nick, is there anything else you want to
Sure,
add?
I just want to point out, because when we passed the alternate member legislation, I want to make sure one of the things was being consistent in how it's administered. Andre was we only have one for each board. Andre was our zoning board alternate member. He resigned that position as an alternate member effective today to then be appointed as a permanent member. He's enjoyed the work on the board thus far. He's been a great addition. He's a veteran. He's invested in our community here. He's a Kiwanian. He's active in a number of organizations. So he's brought a really good perspective to the board, and we're fortunate to have him.
Thanks, Nick.
I think this actually lends credence to creating the alternate position because it creates a pipeline. And you know, I think we appointed him 2 months ago, but he's already had at least some experience.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah,
he sure has.
We only keep one on each, so now we'll be seeking, folks that are interested in becoming an alternate.
Alternates, now we'll have an alternate position vacant.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I
Or
wholeheartedly support this. I watched Evan in our TV zoning meetings, and he brings a really good, varied perspective and very dynamic and analytical. So I enjoy that and our board. Thank you.
Thanks, Irina. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-22, approving the special event license for the Friends of the Arundecoit Public Library to conduct their Friends Fun Fest and trunk sale.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, again, this is for a special event. This isn't. This will be not the first time this event was held. I remember going last year, and it was a fantastic event here at Town Hall. But it's for the Arundecoit Public Library Friends fundraiser. Again, as Barbara said, it's on Saturday, May 9th, from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the Town Hall campus. And again, the actual event will be from, and then at 8:30 a.m. And the takedown will be from 3 to 5 that day here. But it's another great event. I know it was very successful last year. We look forward to seeing it again here this year. Again, that's on May 9th to support our library. Any other questions or discussion? No, I want to thank the Friends of the Library who are here today and for putting this together and for all the work that you do to help support our libraries. You guys do fantastic work in town. And there's a poster. Great, so we can post it up here at Town Hall. Fantastic. Okay, all those in, any questions or discussion? I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item 3A, 2015-23, rejecting all bids received for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment bid for the Arundecoit Public Library.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. This resolution, as Barbara said, rejects the bids that were received. The town anticipates going back out to bid, and will hopefully have a resolution before the board in April. This does still maintain the time frame for the library. This doesn't put us behind in any way. I just want to be clear with folks. This is just, it's going to go right back out to bid, and we'll have a resolution before the board in April, and everything is still moving right on time and right on budget. So, any questions or discussions from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, that's the agenda items, but I'm going to ask everybody just to hold on for 1 second. I have a couple announcements that I did not get to make at the beginning of the meeting, so I'm going to, we have a number of great town events coming up in March and April that I wanted to acknowledge today and invite people to participate. This Sunday, March 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the Helmer Nature Center's annual pancake breakfast. It's at the Nature Center on Pine Grove Avenue. It's an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast with real maple syrup. The cost is $6 for members, $5 for children under 6, and $8 for non-members. And all proceeds go to benefit the Helmer Nature Center programs. On Saturday, April 4th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., is our annual spring recycling event at Town Hall. We're offering computer and electronic recycling as well as document shredding. So please bring your materials that you'd like to recycle to the Town Hall parking lot on April 4th. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call Town Hall or specifically 336-6033. Also on Saturday, April 4th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, I-Square is hosting its Youth Employment Day. Youth Employment Day at I-Square is an opportunity to connect Arundecoit's youth with potential employers and volunteer organizations. The agenda will include job application and interview coaching, as well as meeting with representatives from various employers and filling out job applications. To register, visit www.i-square.us and click on Employment. Again, that's on Saturday, April 4th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The second annual Invigorate Irondequoit. We're going to do the program again. This is a program we started last year. It's going to be held on Saturday, May 2nd from 8:30 to noon. Again, that's Saturday, May 2nd from 8:30 to noon. Invigorate Irondequoit is a volunteer-driven project designed to reinvigorate our town. After a long winter, volunteers will meet at Town Hall and then travel to project locations throughout Irondequoit to pick up debris from parks, plant flowers, mulch play areas, and other activities. The event is rain or shine, and the first 100 registered volunteers are going to receive a free t-shirt. So please email invigorate@irondequoit.org or call 336-6029 or visit www.irondequoit.org to register or for more information. I also want to talk about our tree initiative. Irondequoit is known for our beautiful tree-lined streets and neighborhoods. In an effort to manage our urban forest, the Conservation Board is kicking off a volunteer-based effort to conduct a town-wide inventory of Irondequoit street trees. Conservation Board members and town staff have worked together to develop a user-friendly way for volunteers to collect information about the location, type, and condition of the trees within the town's right-of-way. This project is a great opportunity for residents, students, and volunteer organizations to work together and be directly involved in protecting one of Irondequoit's most important assets. The data collected from this effort will be used to plan future reforestation and maintenance efforts. Anyone who would like more information or is interested in volunteering is encouraged to contact Ann Doler at 336-6033. And finally, in addition to the new monthly video newsletters that you've been seeing on Facebook and on the town website called Inside iTown, we've recently begun a new email newsletter as well to help keep residents up to date on town events, programs, and new initiatives. If you'd like to receive the email newsletter, please visit our website at www.irondequoit.org and click on the email icon at the top right-hand corner, as you can see on your screens at home. I also want to just talk real quick about updates to the property maintenance codes. Last month, the town board held a public hearing to kick off the process of addressing what we refer to as our troubled properties. And I want to particularly thank the residents and town staff who participated in the hearing and shared their thoughts on what's happening in our neighborhoods. The issues raised at the hearing were extraordinarily helpful in guiding our drafting of new town codes. Issues raised were in relation to the habitual property maintenance offenders, issues with certain rental properties, abandoned and vacant properties. These types of troubled properties can be harmful because they impact property values, neighborhood aesthetics, and as we heard, public safety. The input we received will help craft legislation to deal with these consequences, and this is necessary because I truly believe that one of the best features in our town is our neighborhoods, and our beautiful neighborhoods, which is why dealing with these troubled properties is so important, because when one of them appears in a neighborhood, you notice it. And you notice it because the houses that surround it in our neighborhoods are so beautiful. And that's why this is so important. And so the town board is going to take the input that we had last month. We're working on codes, and we're going to continue to work on an update to the code over the next week or so. And then we'll introduce a comprehensive package of reforms, and the town board will act to schedule a public hearing at the April town board meeting. We're going to look forward to presenting the code revisions, and we look forward to the public hearing in April for the public's continued participation in this process, and look forward to adopting those changes in the coming months after that. So there's an update there. And before we adjourn the meeting tonight, I do want to make a motion pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105. I want to move to enter into an executive session to discuss the proposed sale of real property and issues that, if made public, would substantially affect the value of the property. Can I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. I'm going to ask the town board, council, and Director Weatherby to move to the conference room here on the first floor, and we should be back, I would think, in about 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you. second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And that is it for the agenda today. The next scheduled town board workshop meeting is April 9th at 4 o'clock, and the regular town board meeting is April 16th at 7. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn? In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Irondequoit's government access channel.